We're starting now Torah Daled, which is the end of Gimel Amud Aleph, and today's Amud will be Gimel Amud Beis. Lashon Rabbeinu Zal, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Asher hoitzicha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeis avodim. So the Rebbe says, when a person knows that everything that happens to him, all his ma'arosav are l'tovasai, that bechina is me'ein olam haba. It says we see that in the pasuk b'Hashem ahal davar b'Elokim ahal davar, that the person's able to always be mahal Hashem, whether Hashem treats him or ki'ilu acts kaviyachol in the oifen of Hashem, which is the shame of Rachamim, or the shame Elokim. Now, how do we know that's me'ein olam haba? Because Chazal say on the pasuk b'yom hahu yeh Hashem echad, that day Hashem will be one. So Chazal ask, what does it mean Hashem will be one? Isn't He one now? And Chazal answer that today we have two separate brachas. On good things we make a bracha teva meitiv, and on bad things we make a bracha daina emes. And la'asal lavai will make a teva meitiv on everything. Both Shem Hashem and Shem Elokim will both be one. So this concept of echod that we want, that the Rebbe mentions over here, that's where we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to a point where all the ma'ados, everything that happens to a person, should all be echod, achdus. Should be achdus between the hanhaga of Hashem and the hanhaga of Elokim, between the hanhaga of Tova Meitiv and Daina Emes, that everything should be Hashem echod. Now, how are you masig that? That he said, so it says this bechina of knowing the Kol Me'eretz L'Tavasai is, it can only be masig by getting the Malchus Kedusha out of Galus Bina Akum. So if you remember from Torah Gimel and from Torah Aleph, the midah of Malchus is the midah of how a person is masig Olam Hazeh. Malchus is the lowest of the spheres, which corresponds to this world of Olam Hazeh, the lowest world. Now, right now, this world is la'akum. It belongs to ki'ilu t'avodah zarah. That's why also avodah zarah is called Elohim Acherim, because one of the shemus which is connected to this world of Malchus is Elohim, like the pasuk says, Elohim Malkim Mikedim. So right now, the midah of Malchus is connected to Akum, is connected to avodah zarah, which means it's disconnected from the musig of Hashem Echad, and so we need to make it we need to take it to a matzav ki malach kol haaretz Elokim. We need to bring back this world, our hasaga of this world, to be a hasaga of Elokim Malki Mikedim, the ki melech kol haaretz Elokim. Now, how do we do that? How do we bring the Malucha back to Kadosh Baruch Hu? So he explains it's through something called Vidui Devarim Lefnei Talmud Chacham. So a lot of people, like the first time you learn this, it seems that Vidui Devarim means like Vidui Chet. So through the Hemshech, we understand that Vidui Devarim doesn't necessarily mean being Misvada Aferis. It means Vidui, like in Vidui Maestris, when a person talks out everything in front of a Talmud Chacham, and we're going to see b'hemshech how that applies to us and how you makayim that to nowadays. So, but when a person makes a vidu devarim l'fnei Talmud Chacham, then he takes the malchus tikdusha, is misaken et amalet. How is that? Because Rebbe takes the pasuk that says kechu imachem devarim v'shavu el Hashem. Take with you devarim and bring it back to Hashem. So what's devarim? The word devarim could mean things, like vidu devarim, like you mevada all your things. And the word devarim is also connected to malchus, like we have a pasuk that says dabar echad lador. Dabar is a lashon of manig, the maishal. So take with you the malchus and bring it back to Hashem, which means take with you the devarim and bring it back to Hashem. So in other words, if you take everything in this world is malchus, and you talk about everything in this world, and you talk about everything that's going on in your own personal world, and we're trying to bring that back to Hashem. Then the way you bring back this world, which means all Marosov, everything that's going on in your life, how do you bring back everything that's going on in your life back to Hashem? When you speak about it in front of a Talmid Chacham, that helps you to take everything that's going on in your life, which is all the Devarim of your life, which is the Malchus of your life, which means the Hanhaga, the Malchus, the Hanhaga, and your Hasag and Hashem from your world, and you bring it back to Hashem. And what does it mean to bring it back to Hashem? That's the Shem Hashem, that you're taking the Elikim, the Shem Elikim, which is all the dinim and all the things which seem not to be not good in this world, and you talk about it, and you bring it back to Hashem, to the Shem Hashem, to the Shem of Rachamim. And then, when you bring everything together, then it makes a kol maros of him l'tevasai, and you're able to mevarch everything at teva meitiv. So a person knows all this, the Rebbe says, that's called the Yediyah Shlema. When you're able to talk about everything, and you talk about all the things in your life, and talk to Hashem about everything, and which we'll explain how that means l'fnei Talmid Chacham. When you're able to talk about everything, that means you take the entire world, everything that's going on in your world, and all the gurus of this world, and all the dinim of this world, they talk to Hashem about it. Then you bring it up back to the Shem Hashem, to Tova Meitiv. So then you come to a place where there's no difference for you of Chesed and Din, and that's Das, able to make that Tova Meitiv and everything. Like Chazal say, that Las Lavai, everything will be Achtus Gomer Tova Meitiv. And that's, again, we're going back to the Indian of Echad. The Yisod over here is that we want everything to be Achdus. That's Hashem Echad, Ushmoi Echad. And that's why Ushmoi is referring, the Rebbe says, what's Echad and what's Ushmoi? Echad, Shmoi is referring to Malchus, Vyas David Shem. The Shem is Echad, and Hushmai and the Shem Elikim is also Echad. Echad is Gematria Ava, they're both Gematria 13. That you realize that everything that Hashem does, side of Shem Hashem, the Rachamim is L'Tayvasai, and side of Din is L'Tayvasai. Hashem is always being mative to us, sometimes being mative to us in the Eifin of Shem Hashem, and sometimes in the Eifin of Shem Elikim. That's why it says Ayav Hashem Yichiach, but He's always being mative to us. Now, so just to summarize, up until this point, we want to get to a life which is Me'in Olam Haba. A life which is Me'in Olam Haba is when we know that everything that's going on in our lives, Kol Ma'areisai, are all l'taiva. And the reason why we're not masik that is because really everything in our life could be split into two things. Some things are obviously good, things which make a taiva meitavan, and things which we don't make a taiva meitavan, which we wouldn't think of making a taiva meitavan. But we wanted to get to a place that Bashem al davar, b'lekim al davar, that we praise Hashem and we feel thanks to Hashem, whether it's things which are obviously a taiva meitiv, or even when it's not. To be able to be mevarch al kol a taiva meitiv, and that Indian is Hashem echad u'shmai echad, that everything is achdus gomer. There's no difference between chesed and din. And the way you do that is by taking this world, the devarim of this world, and talking about it. Vidu devarim, l'fnei Talmid Chacham. We talk about all the things in this world, which all the malchus of this world. Then you take the malchus of this world and you take it away from the malchus of which is cut off from Hashem, which is malchus of Avodah Zarah, and you bring it to the malchus of Hashem. And the way you do it is by talking about it. Especially, we're going to see talking about everything with the Talmid Chacham. With that, Behem Shech will understand what that means. Now, how does it happen that a person's world is split? That he sees a split between the Hashem and Elokim. So the Rebbe says now we're on Amud Beis, on Daf Gimel Amud Beis, and Ois Hey. So the person's Averis, the Rebbe says, when a person does Aver, they become chokuk, they become etched into his bones. Vatfi avanesum chokuk al atzmaisum, like the pasuk says. Well, how is that? Because every Avera, every mitzvah, every Avera has a tzeirif oisius. like Signaiv, like Sirtzach. And when a person does Avera, what he does is he takes the Tserif and he puts onto his bones. It's Ki'ilu, now going back, we said before that everything in this world is Malchus. This world is the world of Malchus. And we said that the word of Malchus is in need of Dabar. Dabar is the Lashon Manig or Moishel. And when you take Diburim, the Diburim of this world, they talk about this world, then the Kuchu Imachem Divar Meshuval Hashem. So the Dibur, the sharish of everything are the Diburim of the Torah, the Diburim of the mitzvahs, of a lav. And when a person before he does Averis, that means all the oisis of the Torah are mitzurif in the right way. They're written out correctly, and then that memela, the whole world, which is also diburim and also davar, it's also malchus. Then it's all b'kedusha, and it's as if the filter, the way he sees the world, is all Torah. But when a person does Avera, then he takes those words, he takes the tzerif, and he's machnes it into b'teichas tzedakah, and he gives that dibur koyach to the akum. For example, a person takes a l'yelecha, the Rebbe says, then you take the tzerif hatoiv of that dibur, that if it would have stayed l'yelecha, then the person would have seen the world with the right eyes, which is the eyes of realizing everything is a taiva. And when a person's over an Avera, they takes the Oisius of Avera and is mitzaref them in a new way, and it goes into his atzmius in a oifen, that now he sees the world in a jumbled up way, like he jumbled up the Oisius of the Avera, and now became Oisius in a new way, that now he perceives the world in a negative way. But when a person is misvade, means he talks about this world, he talks about it as various. He takes that dibur of the Avera, and he takes it out from his atzamais, and he takes apart the jumbled off tserif of those isis, and he makes a new isis to be mitzurif in the right way in Malchus Kedusha, and he mitzurif the Malchus Kedusha, so now that Malchus is able to see that everything's a taiva. And he thinks this is what we see by Yehuda, that Moshe Rabbeinu was daven for Yehuda, Shema Hashem Kol Yehuda. The Moshe Rabbeinu bikish Moshe Mekadosh Baruch Hu sheyizke Yehuda havidu shezvade. So you see, Moshe Rabbeinu took a vidu which Yehuda was misvade, and not mamish in front of Moshe, but Moshe was able to be male the vidu that Yehuda was misvade, and that's how Yehuda got taken, and that's why Chazal say that the atzamas of Yehuda were rolling around Mugugolin until Moshe davened Shema Hashem Kol Yehuda, Shabikish Moshe that Jesus Kol Yehuda Avidush and Svade. So you see that Yehuda, which is Malchus, has a tikkun through Dvidi Devarim, which the tzaddik, which the Talmid Chacham Moshe Rabbeinu does. So you see that the Indian of Dvidi Devarim with the Talmid Chacham is lav davka Vidi Devarim, that you speak to a Talmid Chacham, but it's even a Vida, a person's Misvadet Hashem, Bizbadadas. A person takes time every day to talk to Hashem about everything that's going on in your life, and all the Averis you did, the Mizvad and the Averis you did, and also talk about all the things in your life, the Devarim of your life, and you do it b'eskashus to Talmid Chacham, and with a hope and a tefillah that the Talmid Chacham can be it, then you'll also be able to make Vidi Devarim with Talmid Chacham. It's not sekilu, it's vada akshav with Moshe, the Rebbe says. And that's how you misakel Malchus. So now how is this working? Because now we're taking the Malchus, we're taking the words of this world, the words which make up my perception of this world, which all come up from the Isis of the Torah. So I was over Averis. I took the Torah and I jumbled up the Isis. Memela, I see the world as a jumbled up Isis. So now, instead of seeing the world the right way, I see the world in a world that there's Taiva Meitiv and there's Daina Emes. There's Elikim and there's Hashem and Elikim. But when I take this world, I take the Diburim of this world, and I'm a Svalaf Talmid Chacham, the Rebbe says, then it's as if we're Mala the Malchus, the words of this world, back to the Shorish. The Shorish of everything is the Torah, which Eish. The Torah is called fire, and the Torah is halakoi devarika eish, and bi malachim imleichu. The pasuk says that the Torah is what gives malachim the koyach to be melech. Bi malachim imleichu. And the ikr, so when we try to bring everything back to the Torah, because the Torah is everything. The oasis of the Torah, the way we're mekayim the Torah, is garim how we perceive the world. When we see when the oasis of the Torah are in the right way, we perceive the world the right way. When it's jumbled, it's jumbled. Now, the Talmid Chachamim are the sharish of the Torah. Like Chazal say, the kama tipshari, the kama mekami sefer Torah, like kama mekami tzavah midirabanan. That the Talmid Chachamim who hold the Torah Shel Peh are in a certain bechina, Chazal say, are on a higher level than a Sefer Torah. That if you stand up for a Sefer Torah, kol sheken you should stand up for Talmid Chacham, and that's why Chazal called davar sheyava be'esh taviru be'esh. Everything that fell into the fire, the Rebbe says, the fire of the Yetzer Hara, then should go through the fire of the Torah in order to have it taken. And that's why it's called Avera, because it's Seif Avera Teichatz Meisaf. And that's the Rebbe says, the Pshat Pasuk, that Chamas Malachim Mavis, that the Chamas HaShakadosh Baruch Hu is that what looks like to be the anger of Hashem is because the Malchus, which the Malchus, the Isis, the Torah, that a person jumbled up and was mashbel through his Averis. But Ish Chacham Yichaprena, but through the Talmid Chacham you can have a kapara to put the Isis back together in the right way. And the Rebbe says, what gives the Talmid Chacham the koyach to do that? So next, the Rebbe says, it's not just the fact that he's a Talmid Chacham, that he knows the live Torah. It's the fact that together with being a Talmid Chacham, he's Meisim Atzmek Yisharayim. There's an Onav, like Moshe Rabbeinu. That what makes him a Chacham is the fact that Chachma Ma'ayin Timotzei, from the ayin, from nothingness, is what gives koyach to Talmid Chacham, that he's able to be mechaper. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was davening for the Klal Yisrael should have a kapar and a chet egel, he said, "Im tisach hatasam ve'ein mechinina." What was he davening? He was basically telling the Eibishter that if you're mechaper on chet egel, and you're able to put back the oasis of Torah for Klal Yisrael, and be mechaper them, and to be mesaken the chet egel, that's a siman that Moshe Rabbeinu is on the madrega of anivus. But if he doesn't, if Hashem isn't mechaper on the chet egel through Moshe Rabbeinu, that's a siman that Moshe Rabbeinu isn't holding on that level of anivus. So Moshe Rabbeinu is saying, if that's the case, I don't want to be in the Torah, because I'm going to hear in the Torah Moshe Rabbeinu here's his shvachim. V'daber Shem Moshe, v'yem Shem Moshe, v'yisrael karim b'choyim b'Torah shivcha Shem Moshe, v'hu ba'atzmei mesaper on shvachov. And Moshe had no aspires in godless from this because of Ish Moshe Adam Ma'od. So Moshe Rabbeinu is saying, if his anava and bittul is so strong that he's able to hear so much shvachim and still not be miskoye, so that means he should have a koyach v'ish chacham yichaprena. But im ayin v'loy tisach hatasam, then Hashem is ki'ilu kaviyachal saying she'en li kol kach hanivus she'uchal lechaper lem av an egel b'chem bakashosi mechinina kedei shlei kosher begadlus. And that's v'yishvam belach, the Malchus goes up to Shoish v'novim yeshu aretz. So Hashem tomorrow will be mamshech.